Numbers chapter 35. Cities for the Levites. The Lord spoke to Moses on the plains of Moab, by the Jordan opposite Jericho. Command the Israelites out of the heritage they possess to give the Levites cities to dwell in. You will also give the Levites the pasture lands around the cities. The cities will be for them to dwell in, and the pasture lands will be for their cattle, their flocks, and all their other animals. The pasture lands of the cities to be assigned the Levites shall extend 1,000 cubits out from the city walls in every direction. You will measure out 2,000 cubits outside the city. Along the east side, 2,000 cubits along the south side, 2,000 cubits along the west side, and 2,000 cubits along the north side, with the city lying in the center. These will be the pasture lands of their cities. Now these are the cities you will give to the Levites. The 6 cities of asylum which you must establish for the homicide to run to, and in addition 42 other cities. A total of 48 cities with their pasture lands, which you will assign to the Levites. In assigning the cities from what the Israelites possess, take more from a larger group and fewer from a smaller one, so that each will cede cities to the Levites in proportion to the heritage which it receives. Cities of asylum. The Lord spoke to Moses. Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you go across the Jordan into the land of Canaan, select for yourselves cities to serve as cities of asylum, where a homicide who has killed someone inadvertently may flee. These cities will serve you as places of asylum from the avenger of blood, so that a homicide will not be put to death until tried before the community. As for the cities you assign, you will have 6 cities of asylum. You will designate 3 cities beyond the Jordan, and you will designate 3 cities in the land of Canaan. These will be cities of asylum. These 6 cities will serve as places of asylum for the Israelites, and for the resident or transient aliens among them, so that anyone who has killed a person inadvertently may flee there. Murder and manslaughter. If someone strikes another with an iron instrument and causes death, that person is a murderer, and the murderer must be put to death. If someone strikes another with a death-dealing stone in the hand and death results, that person is a murderer, and the murderer must be put to death. Or if someone strikes another with a death-dealing club in the hand and death results, that person is a murderer, and the murderer must be put to death. The avenger of blood is the one who will kill the murderer, putting the individual to death on sight. If someone pushes another out of hatred, or throws something from an ambush, and death results, or strikes another with the hand out of enmity and death results, the assailant must be put to death as a murderer. The avenger of blood will kill the murderer on sight. However, if someone pushes another without malice aforethought, or without lying in ambush throws some object at another, or without seeing drops upon another, some death-dealing stone and death results, although there was neither enmity nor malice, then the community will judge between the assailant and the avenger of blood in accordance with these norms. The community will deliver the homicide from the avenger of blood, and the community will return the homicide to the city of asylum where the latter had fled, and the individual will stay there until the death of the high priest, who has been anointed with sacred oil. If the homicide leaves at all the bounds of the city of asylum to which flight had been made, and is found by the avenger of blood beyond the bounds of the city of asylum, and the avenger of blood kills the homicide, the avenger incurs no blood guilt. For the homicide was required to stay in the city of asylum until the death of the high priest. Only after the death of the high priest may the homicide return to the land of the homicide's possession. This is the statute for you throughout all your generations, wherever you live, for rendering judgment. Judgment. Whenever someone kills another, the evidence of witnesses is required to kill the murderer. A single witness does not suffice for putting a person to death. No indemnity. You will not accept compensation in place of the life of a murderer who deserves to die. But that person must be put to death. Nor will you accept compensation to allow one who has fled to a city of asylum to return to live in the land before the death of the high priest. You will not pollute the land where you live, for bloodshed pollutes the land, and the land can have no expiation for the bloodshed on it except through the blood of the one who shed it. Do not defile the land in which you live and in the midst of which I dwell. For I the Lord dwell in the midst of the Israelites.